Well, hello there, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. My name is DB333, and welcome back to Hardline 4, the New Order. Last days of Europe as the Central Siberian Federation. Now, in the last video, we finished up our political tree. We did an okay amount of our economic tree, and we're working on expanding our army out. Namely, working on inspecting some Japanese jets. The Empire of Japan shares plenty of the blame with the Nazis for the fall of the old Union and the fracturing of Russia. They occupy rightful Russian lands and are unmatched in their arrogance, and yet it cannot be denied that they are a world leader in technology. The Japanese are especially adept in the areas of aviation, though it would be easy to turn our noses up at the Japanese and their technology. For now, we must swallow our pride and study the designs of our jet aircraft for the good of the Federation. Expand some state welfare programs. Civilian construction is done. Next, we'll want to go ahead and do early industrial robotics. Omsk is pushing into Ugra. Yep. Can realize Kamov's design. Engineer Nikolai Kamov has designed some of the most impressive aircrafts ever seen, unfortunately unrealized because of their complexity. Now that our control in Siberia is secure, it's time to put these bold plans to fruition and start producing these flying machines. The factories of Novosibirsk will start assembling Kamov's model of a coaxial rotor unity helicopter. Unlike anything our enemies have, the fast mobile transport will give our troops a cutting edge on the battlefield. There we go. More drill. Okay. Maybe get some anti-air guys. Holy crap, that is a long time for that research to finish up. Do support weapons. If the front has got on it and united West Russia. We'll see what happens with Onega. No longer the effects of civilian austerity. Realize Kamov's design. The front is cleared war on the Volunteer Guard. Let's import some heavy machinery. Let's incorporate new territorial armies. Many of the lands conquered by the Federation fielded impressive armies when they still had their independence, even if they weren't so impressive as to be able to prevent defeat and annexation by us. It would be wise to incorporate the best of these forces into our own military, growing it significantly and allowing us to have them fight those we face next. Though we must be cautious so our armed forces do not become infested with extremists, we cannot afford to be too picky in these chaotic times. Yeah. Makes sense to me. And after we get this infrastructure built, build some factories in Novosibirsk. Wait, is this? Damn, has Ireland done the good tree? Did the AI actually manage to do it? Oh shit, they did! Man! Yeah, they did it. They kept it together. then. Okay. Mr. President, as we've begun the integration of the armed forces of former warlord states, a pressing matter has arisen. Prisoners of war that held officer rank within their now defunct militaries are requesting that we release them from prison and grant them commissions. Ordinarily, I wouldn't hesitate to refuse such a request, but I've seen it fit to pass their desires up to your office. The return of prisoners of war has become a difficult proposition when the country they were captured from no longer exists. Additionally, these officers include some of our senior rank, including some of senior rank, could prove invaluable military expertise to our armed forces. I have my own personal concerns with this request, as parting those responsible for waging war against our nation, such a dangerous president. What we don't need is an Arna claiming legal precedent for their own pardons. Naturally, the choice is yours, and I will be awaiting your reply. Signed, Dmitry Glinka, Ministry of Defense. Pardon those of senior rank and grant them commissions. Let's do Siberian War Doctrines. Fighting across nearly the entire breadth of Siberia taught us much in the ways of fighting Siberian warfare. We came against many forces unique in their doctrines and methods of warfare, and though we eventually came out victorious, there were certainly instances in which forces even smaller than our own managed to inflict heavy losses on us, and even eke out a few small tactical victories. We should seek to incorporate these practices in doctrines that our fallen foes utilize, so that we might further professionalize our fighting force. We can only become stronger for it, after all. Now we can hope. Oh Lord, we can hope that happens. Porting some heavy machinery. When is this gonna expire? March, okay. So much for the Virgin Lands campaign. And again, shout out to my man, the Lands, you know, losing their virginity. Big dubs, homie. Big dubs. I don't know what I just said either. Using worker training sounds very nice. Next, let's go ahead and do some revising the training programs. Having incorporated many armies' doctrines and many armies themselves into our military, we've discovered many inadequacies in our training regiments and army induction process as a whole. It would do us well to rework our training corps, so we might start putting out more professionalized soldiers as we move away from the mercenary type training we used before, utilizing the doctrines and procedures we have adopted from these other subjugated warlords. Hopefully this will allow us to improve our army's long-term effectiveness. Now let's improve worker training. Get all of this increasing. Our industrial equipment is probably gonna be done for it by the end of the year. Hungary sides with Italia. Yep, Omsk is winning. I mean, shit, they don't have much left to worry about. Now, let's do a central design bureau. This will be interesting. Research of new and improved technologies and designs to implement them for practical uses are critical to advancements of a state, but both have a certain risk to them. Left uncontrolled and undirected, research and design can easily become useless or even counterproductive. To protect against this and ensure an efficient coordinated scientific work, we will establish a central design bureau responsible for oversight of all practical research, the design of new technologies, and the organization of all scientific efforts. So this will unlock something. The Central Design Bureau. It's a modifier. It was in that time that had passed since Vasily Margolov had first begun inspecting the airborne forces of the Federation, so much had changed right before the general's own eyes. Excuse me. Now the same troops he had seen at first were in shape, had the latest equipment, and obeyed every command without question. For his skilled instruction, some of them had even taken to calling him Uncle Vasya, and just thinking about that almost brought tears to his eyes. They had formed into fine soldiers, but for whom producing criticism was difficult, but more importantly, a strong sense of camaraderie had formed among them, and where once they seemed close to apathetic about their roles within the military of the Federation, now they helped each other fulfill their respective eagerness with a sort of eagerness that Margolov hadn't seen in a long, long time. Given time, they stood a real chance of becoming the best soldier Margolov had ever had the pleasure of working for. For now, however, there was still work to be done, and so he returned to instruct them, trying to wipe the proud smile off his face and only partially succeeding. If any of his men noticed the admiring look in his eyes, they didn't say a word. Uncle Vasya has many nephews. Extra pee-pee, maybe? I don't know. We have a centralized design bureau. Today marks the opening of a newly centralized design bureau, creatively named the Central Design Bureau, in Gorodsk, a relatively recent founded scientific center in the city of Novosibirsk, full of immense knowledge and learning, as well as institutes of incredible scientific design. Established due to the inefficiencies presented in past research efforts, the Central Design Bureau is meant to give scientific study a greater organization and coordination under federal oversight, allowing it to truly prosper without unnecessary overlap or competition between the scientists. Problems present in the past under the previous decentralized nature of the research in Novosibirsk. Now that it has been opened, research and design within the Federation will progress at a much more rapid rate, allowing us to close the technological gap with the rest of the world, and even innovate in creating new technologies in various fields ourselves. This is a great victory, not only for the Federation, but for all of Russian science. Knowledge is power. Ooh, okay. So we unlocked a bunch of projects, it seems. Let's repurpose the Siberian plan. Up until now, the Federation's industrial plan might as well have been built on the back of Bukharin's Siberian plan. While the Siberian plan was by far Bukharin's greatest achievement, it cannot be denied that the industrial base it was responsible for had been lagging behind the march of progress. We should use the plan as a template with which to create a modern and improved plan in order to meet the needs of a modern industrial state. It will be up to the industrial theorists and brilliant minds of the Federation to build this new plan. But when it is complete, our industrial might will be unassailable within Russia. Okay. Ooh, the face of warfare has changed. Battles are no longer decided by massed infantry and thundering artillery, but whoever can dominate the skies above the contested grounds. We have seen examples of this across the world, from South Africa to Indonesia to our own backyards. For Russia to become powerful again, she must not concede her own airspace to the enemy. The great powers of the world have spent years building their air forces, and our Armada pales in comparison in both size and sophistication. It's essential that we make up for lost time, and the best way to do that is by sponsoring any project that may help us achieve aerial supremacy. The costs may be high, but they are nothing compared to what we will pay if we surrender the skies of the motherland. Let's do Project Bichivatl. The fighters with workforce of any modern air force, well suited for defending airspace, attacking enemy formations, protecting bombers over enemy territory. It's vital that we have a fighter capable of competing with anything the Germans, Japanese, or Americans can field. New design, dubbed the MiG-23, might just be what we're looking for. Sporting variable wing geometry and an experimental radar system, it will be one of the most advanced aircrafts in the world. Okay, let's do it. So in 270 days, we'll finish that up. And we'll see what ends up working. Sukarno is one. I think he's going to get cooed by Suharto soon enough. I'm probably not saying any of that correctly, but, you know. Let's do some research facilities, get those going. Beautiful. Siberian Black Army versus Vorkuta. Yep, there goes Suharto. Sport Weapons 5. Beautiful. Purpose of Siberian Plan. Let's expand the factory city. Novosibirsk is widely known as a factory city, an industrial linchpin that is sometimes regarded as more of a giant factory than a place where people make their homes. Indeed, the city is the most industrialized in all of Siberia, and we see no reason why we should embrace this fact. With the help of our loyal national champions, Novosibirsk shall be expanded far beyond our current, already extensive capabilities. The city shall be one that never rests, where the factories stretch beyond that which the eye can see, and work day and night to build a stronger, safer future for all of us. That is beautiful right there. The death of the prince. Yeah, so far so good. Let me retake that. Oop, the perfidious Finns escape justice again. In the factory cities, there we are. Let's promote the national champions. The Corporation of Fenix, Siberian Titan are the engineers that kept the Siberian Federation rolling. Without their considerable economic power at all sides, it is likely we wouldn't have been able to come as far as we have. They provide boundless economic opportunities, unmatched industrial expertise, and most importantly, economic growth beyond our wildest dreams. Our national champions deserve a central role in the economy. This has been the case all along, of course, but it's time to make this arrangement official. The Federation shall march forward with its loyal corporations as its greatest weapon. Alright, we can get some factories going. Black League. Do some poverty relief stuff. Actually, I'll do hiring some foreign instructors. Beautiful. And we're doing great all around right now. Let's work on our geopolitical future, actually. With the Federation's position secure and Russia quickly stabilizing under our rule, we can begin looking outwards towards the world. Given our relatively non-ideological nature of our government, we'd find ourselves with great diplomatic opportunities. Japan and Siberia seem happy to deal with us and our corporations, as does the United States, which has even indicated it would support us in a conflict between us and Germany. The Federation's future is still uncertain, but if we can secure allies to help defend us and trade agreements to reinforce our economy, there will be nothing we can't do. Yeah. There we go. Sheeta's making a comeback. Okay, Michaela, I see you. I see you, Michaela. There we go. Cheetah's unified. The Far East. Let's do this. Let's do a whole front line against this front. Sir, there's some concerns about the steady escalation of a debate surrounding our state's foreign policy. The president looked up in the papers VA had just handed him. What could possibly be so dangerous about foreign policy? Specifically, the concerns are pointed at Phoenix and Siberia. As you know, yes, the backbones of our weapons and agricultural industries. I'm fully aware of what these corporations do render. Alright. Well then. The two corporations both desire different trading partners. Phoenix supports diplomacy with the OFN in America. The United States has cutting-edge technology, no reason to fear that their supplies might be used against them. They don't believe the Japanese would be nearly as willing to negotiate arms deals. Meanwhile, Siberia wants to trade primarily with a spear. They believe a spear can provide unique opportunities that America can simply never provide. This wouldn't be such a problem for our economy if the two corporations weren't trying so hard to sway us to their side. They're bribing every politician they can get their hands on, and there are even some allegations that the two corporations are trying to sabotage each other. If this matter isn't resolved, their stocks could fall and bring our economy down with them. Pekorishkin could do nothing more than sigh. I'll look into this. Just get some people on damage control. Why can't they just play nice? We're leaning towards federalism and collectivism. We'll come back to that. Let's keep in mind to living standards. Economies exist to support states, and states, in turn, exist to support the lives of the people that live under them. Our economy, our state, neither are exempt from these rules. As we continue our efforts to reunite Russia and our economy efforts expands with our borders, so too will our state have to make use of this expanded economy to improve the lives of its citizens. If we do not, we run the risk of inspiring a level of popular unrest that we can't afford to have at such a critical moment. As such, we will devote most of our industrial output to the creation of various products and make the lives of our consumers easier and more convenient. Ooh, okay. We can build factories. Okay. In our attempt to find an economic partner, conflict has arisen between the megacorps, Siberia and Phoenix. Siberia, an agricultural megacorp, has favored getting closer ties with co-prosperity Spear, while the military-industrial-centered megacorp, Phoenix, has desired closer ties with the United States and the OFN, believing them to be the most capable of supplying us with ample military strength and equipment. We have 1 year before we pick a side. Failing to pick one will be economic disaster. Constant infighting between megacorps will balance out our influence between the two major powers, and if both our influences are an equal number, we will be unable to decide on a partner. Fuck, who do you want to trade with? Arctic Partnership. I'm thinking the USA. Let's increase influence and sign some military contracts. Megacorp infighting. Yes. Alright, now let's focus on poverty relief programs. Anti-tank. Let's do it. Peace has been brought to Vietnam. Okay. Let's go ahead and do the consolidation of the energy sector. Under the soil of Siberia lies vast reserves of oil and natural gas, fuel hydrocarbons, the lifeblood of modern age. Till now, those riches lay mostly unexplored. But that must end very soon. We must organize and consolidate the energy extraction industry, no longer to be left in the hands of small companies and adventurers. The nature of this business demands intense capital, and our government will grant that, with the guarantee of profits to our private partners and investors by way of an established monopoly and government inputs. The Siberian energy sector will be genuinely efficient. Free military factories. Moss anti-tank. Let's see. Phoenix, I mean, they're not strong enough to fuck with the compass. Which we're going straight into Liberite territory right now. The riches of Siberia. As we continue to expand our industrial base, it will be imperative to keep constant flow of resources to feed the engines of progress. Thankfully, the lands of Siberia are rich with the natural resources that will be essential to driving our ever-growing economic needs. With the aid of our good friends and allies, the national champions, it's only a matter of time before the vast resources of Siberia will be available to us in quantities unheard of before. The riches of Siberia must be exploited for the good of the Federation. Well, of course. Bao Dai abdicates, communists swept into power. Better industrial equipment. Excellent. Let's allocate some education funding. What next? What do we have to wait for? 69. Nice, but also, geez, that's going to be a while. Will we even have focuses to do at that point? I don't know. We might have to do a jump in time. Well, then again, it will give Mikhail a little bit more time to get ready. The riches of Siberia. Let's establish a consumer sector. The effort to move industrial production towards the output of consumer goods has had the effect of showing the value of having a robust consumer sector, which would add to our economic growth and make our people more prosperous. We've already secured the agreement of national champions on this, allowing us to work freely, whether through subsidies or incentives or other methods, to encourage further output of consumer products and continued development of this new sector of the economy. Research and development is coming along. Increase Ofen. Loyalty. Germany versus the Volgastadt and the Moscow Autonomy. Let's do some... We'll save up to get the subsidies. Next, we'll go ahead and do... Crap, we're done with all the industrial stuff. Let's work on invading the Kalishnikov. The Kalishnikov assault rifle has begun the gold standard for fighting in Russia, with each relevant contender for dominance fielding hundreds of Kalishnikov models for their armies, offers the toast originals or local-made copies. Despite the effectiveness and popularity, it's not a machine without flaws. Our engineers are promoting a series of improvements to the assault rifle, planning to make it lighter and more reliable with aims to give our mobile troops the edge they need. Alright then. Wonderful. Let's sabotage Siberia a bit. Military construction 3. Let's do it. And then we'll do the advanced developmental subsidies. There we go. Okay. Which it's the Branson. Actually, that's going to be pointless because Branson cants are actually pretty just about maxed out. Selecting national focus. Let's travel to the east. Russia has at this point made a decently long history. Had a decently long history of Japan, and much of it isn't good. Despite that, Japan remains one of the globe's foremost superpowers, and its influence, much like Germany of the US's, stretches far across the globe. It would be foolish of us not to open diplomatic ties with a spear, start working on improving relations. Besides, history need to dictate the future. So it happens that our government and economic setups are rather alike, and cooperation between our nations could bring about great prosperity. Let's see what we can make happen. Let's do some mechanization. Just moving along slowly enough, but we're getting there. I might end up improving some of his loyalty soon enough. Alright then. How's old Lyndon doing? So far so good, it seems. Alright. 2. All members of the Federal Diplomatic Corps, regarding forthcoming departures and assignments. At the direction of central government, the Federal Diplomatic Corps has been instructed to prepare, in general, among all departments for the imminent reassignment of considerable numbers of personnel to alternative domestic and foreign posting. Overtures on the part of the Federation towards members of the OFN, as well as both the Empire of Japan and states within its sphere of influence, have been made. Suspected that responses to these overtures will in the immediate future necessitate the establishment of foreign bureaus for the purpose of direct relations as well as facilitation of trade. The Corps expects that any personnel so assigned to such a foreign bureau keep in mind the geopolitical positions of the nations in which they operate, both in relation to the Federation and in relation to other international alliances. Until such a time as instructed is received as to the direction of the Federation's international political associations, no favoritism of any time is to be displayed. If you or your colleagues have any concerns, do not hesitate to direct them to your immediate superior. The Corps will return a reply as quickly as possible. Keep the good of the Federation in mind, as always. Let's do some missions to our neighbors, then. Though we might seek allies abroad, it will be unwise to neglect those states neighboring us, allowing our relationships with them to deteriorate. These include the Kazakhs, the future long since tied to that of Russia, the Chinese, once our rivals in the east, and now a promising opportunity in the Mongols, caught between us and the spear. Until Russia is reunited, conflicts with outside states is one of the last things we can afford. Additionally, much of our economy depends on trade with our neighbors, and we must avoid lost profit where we can. Reasonable. I think that's quite reasonable. Let's get training up some more guys at a time. Yeah. We're missing some equipment production, apparently. Production. Let's chill out on artillery. They're working on some anti-air. Within a smoke-filled boardroom in Novosibirsk, executives from Siberian Phoenix sat and talked about the direction of the Federation's foreign policy. The men were dressed in the finest suits and smoked the finest imported cigars. A man from Siberia spoke up. It seems clear to me that we should open up closer ties to the Japanese. We can leverage the influence of the Zaibatsus and increase our own influence in the Japanese markets. Are you serious? The Japanese markets are dominated by the Zaibatsu. We would be operating a loss for years. It's too risky. We're much better off breaking into the American markets. Perhaps we should look to the former triumvirate. The economic chaos that they've recently experienced could be the perfect time for us to strike. These are truly untapped markets that are hungry for new investments. All of you seem to be ignoring the large source of potential profit. The Reich may have been ravaged by its civil war, but it's still a very rich market. As a man from Siberia stopped speaking, the boardroom felt completely silent. All across the table, the other executives looked at him with aghast expressions. Are you insane? The Germans? Those bastards would sooner kill us than do business with us. What kind of bullshit have you Siberia boys been drinking? The Reich is off the table. Period. After that, the boardroom descended to raised voices just short of shouting. Board members wagged their cigars at each other and hurled insults. By the end of the meeting, tensions have reached their highest point, and only the break for lunch has prevented the room from descending to complete chaos. Business as usual. Let's do that. Decrease, increase, increase. Ooh. Final round of test flights for the MiG-23 concluded yesterday. The results cannot be clearer. Project Bikavatal has produced one of the most advanced fighter designs to ever come out of Russia, and one of the most advanced fighters in the world, ready to duel any of its counterparts from America, Germany, and Japan, and more than up to the task of finishing up the paltry air force of our domestic rivals. We will not truly know how the MiG-23 performs in live combat until it's tested in the field, but every simulated combat has shown it's capable of running circles around its opponents. The geometry of its wings allow the pilot to adjust between speeds and maneuverabilities as needed. The advanced radar system and air-to-air missiles have given the fighter a truly unprecedented striking range, capable of hitting enemies over the horizon and beyond the pilot's line of sight. With a fleet of these planes, we will soon be fielding one of the most advanced air forces in the world. Excellent. Well, that is beautiful right there. What do we want to research next? First, let's worry about this research slot. Army interoperability. Better artillery. There we go. I know now. Megacorp infighting. This really is cyberpunk. Man. Commission to our neighbors. Let's go ahead and do... Let's do the bombers. Poidoka. I know I'm probably butchering that. I apologize, but I'm trying here. Yeah, let's do a Kazakh consulate. For centuries, the future of Kazakhstan and Russia have been inextricably linked. The present is no different. Much like us, the Kazakhs have suffered tremendously from warlordism, banditry, and abject poverty. However, they have overcome these difficulties, just as we did, and are beginning to recover their past greatness. We should immediately dispatch an emissary to reach out to them in order to establish formal relations and celebrate the beginning of the end of our shared tribulations. Shit, which one, though? Where there is censorship of ideals, it is inevitable that an underground press will rise up in protest. This is no less true in Novosibirsk, the heart of the Central Siberian Federation. They call it Samizdatz, and its faces are many. From anti-government screeds to suppressed poetry, all find themselves at home in the Samizdatz. Yevgeny Karatanov was one just such face of Samizdatz, laboring away at the typewriter, his fingers striking the keys with mechanical precision. It was the start of something new, something not quite ready yet, but shining with brilliant potential. The Enchanted Island, he called it, a play he knew would never see mainstream publication. After all, no conservative regime would allow a homosexual to publish, regardless of context. So here in the Samizdatz, Karatanov wrote, hoping that the underground theater scene would find it pleasing. Perhaps in another decade, Karatanov could walk as he was and publish what he pleased, but not today. He slid the plate back into place, and as it rang and continued to type. One day, all of Russia will read your works. One day. Man, these mega corporations need to learn that you can make a ton of money by pandering to people. They're off their game. I don't know what to tell them. Shit. Sign military contracts. And let's take a look at the political compass over here. Let's improve some loyalty with Phoenix. Exact consulate. 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 Jesus. Establish some trade routes in Kazakhstan. Yeah, let's do that. Let's do some connections with Mongolia. Caught between two warlords. One, that of a rising sun beginning to set, and the other a Russian bear coming out of hibernation to vent simulation. The Mongols must align with one or the other to protect themselves in an increasingly restless Asia. Obviously, it would be in our best interest to make every effort to convince them of the benefits aligning with us. We will initiate talks to improve our relations with them, securing our trade in the region, and ensuring a stable buffer state against Siberia for the time being. Makes sense to me. We can exploit the steppes. Ooh. Consumer goods hit. I don't think that's quite worth it at this point. Construction. More infrastructure. Not bad. And we'll be building some more stuff in Konskin. Bratsk. Army interoperability. Very nice. Burgundian bunkers. Uh-oh. Next, let's do an artillery barrage. No national focus set. Let's do a partnership in China. In spite of domination and exploitation by the Japanese, China has become a truly large market with easy and largely secure investments, and will only continue to grow as time passes. Though their ability to act on their own is limited, we will reach out to them within the boundaries we possess under the watchful eye of a spear, and forge economic and strategic partnerships to whatever extent we can to strengthen both parties and allow us greater access and influence in the markets of Asia. Let's grow economically closer to Mongolia. Better research facilities. Wonderful. Wunderbar, even. Engineering. There's not much use for Navy stuff because we don't have a Navy to bother with. Oh, fighters. Why did I not think of this? Let's get working on jet engines. I mean, it is very in character for us to worry about fighters and all this stuff, so why not do it? Oh, shit. Decrease spear influence. Sign some military contracts. And who is it? Phoenix. So sabotage Siberia. Next, we can do a main battle tank. You can pause and read this. It's probably not the most interesting or gripping stuff, so I wouldn't worry too much about it. Better industrial expertise. Very good. Decrease spear influence again. And well, I'm going to have to cut it here, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for watching. However, if you like this video, go and leave a like. If not, feel free to dislike. If you want to see more of this content in the future, go ahead and hit the subscribe button for more uploads every weekday, as well as every Saturday. If you have any comments, feedback, concern, anything of the sort, leave in the comment section below. I read all the comments I get and appreciate any and all feedback you might have for me. If you want to chat, play games, anything of that sort, check out my my Discord. If you want to send a few bucks my way every month, check out my Patreon. If you want to see me do a sort of live, check out my Twitch, all of which are linked below. Thank you as always for watching, ladies and gentlemen. My name has been DB333. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye. We'll do this real quick. Pause if you want to read it. There we go.